Jesus girl. Jesus girl. Hey, it's the diary of a Jesus girl. Let the wings of the Spirit of the Lord just swirl. You are in it, but you know you're not a part of this world. And for the swine, you should never cast your pearl. Yes, it's just the diary of a Jesus girl. The diary of a Jesus girl. Welcome to the Diary of a Jesus Girl podcast, where we discuss real life issues of the committed Christian woman. This podcast will inspire you to love Jesus and impact lives like Jesus. And now it's time for your host, Crystal Day, award-winning author, speaker, and Christian coach.
Welcome to another episode of the Diary of a Jesus Girl podcast with yours truly, Crystal Day, in the building. Listen, guys, I am excited about our conversation today. You know, I always have some amazing people in the house, and of course, our guest this week is no exception. I'm looking forward to the conversation. I'm looking forward to the transparency and, of course, the inspiration that will come. So I want to welcome Chasity Nichole to the podcast. Welcome, darling.
Hi, I'm so happy to be here. This is exciting.
Thank you. Thank you so much again for accepting our invitation to be on the podcast. Again, I've been fond of, you and your brand, being a follower of the Saved in the City brand, and, just watching you grow and watching you cute up, the Instagram profile, when you're always on fleek and stuff. So I know that this conversation will truly be a blessing. So normally when we start our conversation, we start by sharing a little bit about our conversion story. But I just want to kind of share a little bit about your bio with my audience just before you start and share with your story. So just a little bit about Chasity. She is a dynamic influencer and multi-talented entrepreneur, speaker, and business coach. She enjoys serving and equipping others through personal transformation to maximize their potential and fulfill their purpose. Now, her mission is to motivate women and professionals of all disciplines to use their energy, influence, and power to create positive change in the world. As one of Nashville Black 40 under 40. Listen, Chasity, tell us a little bit about that, right? Chasity is committed to destroying generational barriers and poverty mindset. Yes. And, she works, she works with many brands, and she operates a Chasity Nichole agency. So again, she says she enjoys spending time with her son Jordan, laughing and creating memories with her family and friends, and singing her favorite R&B jams, right? So, and she just shared that she was in Jamaica recently. So, of course, it's always a blessing to know that, persons enjoy our island. So again, we want to thank you for coming on, and you just get started and share a little bit about your transformation story, share, how you came to Christ, what was life like before Christ, etc.
Well, I always say, but and this is not literal, but I always say, what was what was life like before Christ? It was ghetto. I always say that, but it's not really in a literal sense, but it wasn't as fulfilling, as rewarding as life with Christ is. I started my journey getting to know God at a young age. I used to go on a campus here, a college campus in the States, in Tennessee. And I used to go with my cousin, and she first kind of exposed me to, what it looks like to be a Christian and love Jesus and have fun at the same time, because it was all of these college students. So it was all of these, women and men in their 20s, and they would just be singing and doing all these fun things. And I was like, oh my God, I want to experience God like this too. But I didn't know for sure what that looked like at a young age. So I always went to church with my mom and my grandparents and things like that. And that was super fun. I recall at a young age, I decided to give my life to Christ. And I got baptized, and I remember the song, I gave my life to Christ too, and everything. And it was just, it was an amazing experience. But again, at a young age, I didn't know what was going on. I was just doing it because it felt right. It wasn't until I got in high school, maybe my junior, senior year, in high school, and I said, I'm going to start going to church on my own. So I started going to church on my own, to a church that I since have been a part of, I think now for about 14 to 15 years, back at home. So I went through college and everything like that. And it was just a life experience that made me want to shift, a real life experience. And I was like, wow, God, you really kept me. Even though I didn't have a full relationship with you. I didn't know you for real. I wasn't talking to you. I wasn't spending time on my Bible. I wasn't doing any of those things. I was just going to church out of routine. But you still kept me. And for that, I was very grateful. And so that life experience made me want to rededicate my life to Christ. And that's where I tell people a lot of my my transformation happened, is when I rededicated my life to Christ. And then I got connected with a community, which is Saved in the City. So Saved in the City is not my brand. That's my best friend's ministry. And so, but I've always supported her, since it came to fruition. And so I got connected with the women's ministry and then paired with my actual church and the ministry I was a part of. And that's literally kind of like how my journey began over these last couple of years. And everything in my life just began to shift. I experienced a mindset shift, a heart shift, an emotional shift. I dealt with a lot of things that I didn't know were an issue. Actually, when I was growing up, I didn't realize that some of the childhood hurt and trauma and some of those things, I didn't know that I was numb to it because I didn't know how to do it. And then how everybody says, you go through something, it's like you're normal, but really it's dysfunction. And I didn't realize it was dysfunction until I got older. And so, just a couple of steps that I took, being a part of, being a Christian, getting healing, really taking time out to do the soul work, doing heart checks and things like that is when I realized okay, I need to shift. And God opened my eyes to that. I always tell people, he removed the scales from my eyes so I could see very clear. So for that, I'm grateful. So that's kind of how my adult journey began with Christ. And here I am now. When I first started out this journey, I didn't know who I was. I was like, okay, who does God want me to be? And who am I supposed to be? And I thought that I could not be the same person I was on the outside and do some of the same things. And I realized I became very, very uncomfortable because I was trying to fit in to something that didn't necessarily fit me. And so I had a hard time, with God or whatever. And we had conversations and I was like, look, I don't fit that mold. That's not me. I like to dress. I like to hang out. I like to be pretty. I like to listen to my music, secular music. It's just, I know how to guard my ears, and you just have to do what's best for you. And because I wasn't doing what's best for me, I was taking on what other people were doing. Some people couldn't listen to secular music because of what it may do for them, because it's a trigger. Well, secular music is not a trigger for me. I'm very aware of my triggers and I kind of stay away from those. But, enjoying life is just something I've always done. I always say that my ministry is not inside the four walls of the church. My ministry is outside of the church. So I like to reach the people who the church has forgotten about, because we get the people into the church and then we focus on those people. But then there's also people outside of the church that need attention and love, and they need to see the heart of God. And so I feel like I'm called to those people.
Yes. So here's where I want to go, because you spoke a little bit about, transformation. And even before we hit record, you were talking about personal transformation. That's something that you're passionate about. So I want you to possibly just take us through a journey of, what was going on, in your life that led you to this. What did this transformation look like? Just share as though you're led to share, because some women are listening and we hear these words, transformation and healing and brokenness and pain. And some people can relate and some people can't, because they're like, I don't even know if I need a transformation, I don't even know if so I would love for you to just share so some persons are listening that they can also be able to identify that.
Yeah. So the first part of your question was what life experiences led me there? What did my transformation look like? My transformation looked like first having a heart-to-heart conversation with myself and saying, hey, you're not going to continue to be able to do the same things that you were doing to get to where you're trying to go to. And it was an eye-opener. I remember God showing me not what my life looked like in the future, but he gave me a glimpse. He gave me a glimpse of what he had for me. And in order for me to receive that present, I really had to say, all right, let me tighten up. What does that mean? Let me get myself together. The friends I was hanging around, I can no longer hang around them because they were doing specific things that was not going to be good for me, was not going to be good for my life, was not going to be good for my destiny. And so with that being said, I had to shift conversations had to change. Friendships, relationships, all of those things changed. Some of my actions, a lot of the things, how I used to respond to things or how I even used to react. I had to quickly say, okay, you know what? Everything doesn't deserve a response. Everything doesn't deserve a reaction. So what does that mean? Okay, I'm turning the other cheek like the Bible tells us to do. I have to turn the other cheek when I really want to like go off and give people a piece of my mind and let them know, no, I am not the one or the two. No, you can't do that. You have to like literally say, what would Jesus do? How would God respond to this? And so that's what transformation looked like for me. Transformation is an inner thing. It happens on the outside. People see it on the outside, but before people can experience it externally, you have to do the work internally. You understand what I'm saying? And so with that being said, I had to literally do a heart check and say, okay, do you want what God has for you? Or are you going to be selfish and keep being the same person that you were, knowing that there are other people attached to your purpose and your assignment that you would never reach if you continue to be that same woman that you were? And what do I mean by being that same woman that I was? Doing some of the old things that I did that got me in trouble, that landed me, like a lot of unnecessary situations that I really could have controlled, but I didn't. And so with that being said, I literally stopped one day and I was like, yeah, no more. You can't do this. And it wasn't a hard thing. It was literally just saying, okay, I'm not going to do this anymore. And it was trusting God. So that's where that faith came in, because I had some days where I was like, you know what? It was easier in the world. I didn't have all of these challenges like I do right now that I say, okay, God, I'm completely sold out for you. It was easy in the world because I just do whatever I want to do, but I didn't have any accountability. So when I rededicated my life to Christ, and like I said, I was a part of ministries and I had friends supporting me, then, I had the accountability. So it's like, where I go from wanting to do whatever I want to do, it's like, no, you can't do that, because you got to remember what's attached to you and what your assignment is. And so for me, that's kind of like how that journey kind of started out. And even in business, I always ask people, like, what is your why? Like, why are you doing what you're doing? And so for me, I had to develop a why. Like, what's your reason? Because you can keep being in the world if you want to, but it's not going to be fulfilling. It's not going to be as rewarding. It's not going to be as fruitful. You're not going to be as happy, like joy, like real joy. Because before you can get happiness, you got to have joy, right? You're not going to have that without God. So it's like you pick it, because God gives you options. Like, he doesn't drill anything in your head, but he's like, which one you going to go with? Because if you're going to go over there, then I'm going to let you do your thing. I'm going to be there for you, but I'm going to let you bump your head a lot of times more than with you over here. And I can give you the spirit of discernment. I can give you wisdom. I can give you peace, past all understanding. It's like, that on the scale, that was weighing more than it was over here. So that's why I was like, that was an easy transition. Now, has it been easy? The process has been super hard, but it's been rewarding. So that's what that looks like. When I say transformation for me, it's an inner thing more so than it's an outer thing.
Yes. And one of the things I keep hearing you that comes out, you talk a lot about, just having the right people around you, the right community that kind of help you to help you to push you into believing even bigger for yourself. And also, one of the things I also hear a lot is, taking responsibility for yourself, and somebody that's listening might be saying, hey, how can I, but is that taking that responsibility that I know that there's better for me, right? As long as I'm alive, there's so much more for me to accomplish, and you can't stick to where you're at. But here's where I want you to go. There is always, God's image or vision for our lives. And sometimes we don't get a clear picture. We just know that it's more versus, okay, this is probably what I want to do. This is how I want to do things. Talk to us, if there's ever been a season where you feel like there's more, but you wanted it. And then how did you kind of come into an alignment to accepting God's will for your life?
Wow, that's every season of my life. And I know one more recently, I transitioned from one city to the next. So I've always lived in the same city and state for 30 years of my life. And I recently moved to another city and state. And the reason why I was moving was not the reason why God wanted me to move. And he had a conversation with me. I never will forget it. It was March or April of 2020. And he said, yeah, so you think this movie is about this. This is what you're going to be doing. And I need you to release this, this, and this so you can make room for this. And I'm like, I'm not doing that. That's not what I want to do. I said, God, you remember where we were around this time last year and where I was in my business. I'm just starting to, see up, and this is what you want me to do. You want me to release all of this over here for this. I'm like, no, I'm not doing it. I don't even know what that's about. I don't even know if that is going to be consistent income coming in for my business, any of those things. But, and I was upset. I'm not going to lie. I think we got to be transparent. And that's what I always tell people, I'm about as real as you're going to get. Like, I can be super transparent as long as people can handle it, but I'm always be authentic. And so I told God, I said, I don't like that move. I want to move, and I have my reason for moving, but not your reasons for me moving. So he made me do something that I did not want to do. And I had to come to terms with it and get alignment with it, because not only was it the will for my life, but it also involved someone else, and then someone else's family and somebody else's, whatever. So I was like, okay, we're going to see what this looks like. And did God steer me wrong? Absolutely not. He didn't. He gave me a glimpse of what it was going to look like, but he knew not to tell me everything, because if he would have told me everything, then he know I would have said no. And I would probably still be in the same place that I was in around this time in 2019. So he knew that he had to expose me to something. He knew he had to, because one thing about God is he knows us, right? He knows his children. So he knows, like, I always tell people I'm a misfit. So I tell people I'm a misfit. Like, sometimes I listen, and then God know he got to really put it in and make it plain for me to, like, okay, God, it's not that I don't have faith, but it is like, why do you want me to do that? Why do you want me to talk to those people? Why do you want me to go over there? Why do I have to be a part of this? Because I'm one of those people. I'm always inquisitive. I always got to ask God questions, because I'm like, bro, help me out. I don't understand. And so he really, God is so sovereign. He looks out for you. He knows what you need. And so he gave me peace about it. And then once I had peace about it, it was an easy transition. But then again, like this last, year and a half, it hasn't been easy, but it definitely has been worth it. And I learned a lot. So I'm glad I said yes.
Yes. So here we want to touch a little bit on motherhood, right? Because your son, how old is he?
He's 11.
He's 11, right? So I want you to take us through that journey of, single, you're on my singleness, motherhood, and as a Christian woman at that. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So I had my son my last year of college. And so when I didn't have him, I conceived in my last year of college, and then I graduated college. I walked across the stage pregnant in 8 months, and he was due the next month. And so that too alone has been its own separate journey, but has definitely helped me become the woman I am today. I thank God. It's a blessing. It is a blessing literally to be assigned to my son, and for him to choose me as his mom, for God to let me, hey, I get to raise him. Thank you. Because he's so special. He's so special to the world. He has unique gifts and talents that I'm for sure the world is going to be blessed by. And so aside from that, how has that been? I'm telling you, I don't know where I got the strength from to be a mother. That's number one. And then number two, I don't know where the strength came from to be a single mother, because that is my relationship status. And so I always tell people, because when we attach single to mother, we think that, they're doing it on their own. And that's by far not even the truth, because his father is definitely there and he's active. But my relationship status is single, and I am the primary parent, and I do most of the raising because he's here. But I do have the support. And so has it been easy? No, it hasn't. Has it been rewarding? Sure, it has been, but it's been tiring. it's just been a lot. And you know, like when you want to give up, you can't because someone else is dependent on you. So instead of giving up, it's like, it's something that makes me want to just go a little harder. And so because I want him to experience, you know, not only what the life that I didn't have, but I also want him to have a relationship with God and understand the importance of his foundation and why we are anchored in Christ. So a lot for me has been like, even if we are, you know, hit a detour on our journey or we experience a lot of ups and maybe some downs, I also want to let him know, like, one thing we don't do is lose our faith. We don't lose our faith in God because we know that he's always aware of what we're in need of. And he's always aware of, you know, what we see before we even see it. So he's very special. So this whole motherhood and business and being a Christian, it's been a lot. But I always tell people, it's like, you know, at each level, God graces you for that level. And he gives you the strength. He gives you every single thing that you need on that level. So I don't ask for any more than what I need in that moment, because I know when I go to the next level, God is going to give me what I need there as well. So, yeah, I kind of can't say like, oh my God, it's been super bad. Like, it hasn't been bad. Challenging, hard. Yes. But I mean, we're here. I really take things like, I don't take things personally. I always see the brighter side of things. So and I hope people understand my heart, you know, when they're listening to this podcast and know it's like, I'm not saying this for fake. I'm not putting on. I literally like do everything with peace and with positivity in mind, because I understand that it could always be worse. You know what I mean? It could always be worse. And God could not be there doing the covering. He could not be there, you know, providing the resources, but he is. And I'm grateful for it. So that's where this positive attitude and smile always comes from, because this is literally how I always am.
Nice. So there are some women that are listening and, you know, probably struggling with career and business. Like, probably they want to start a business, or probably they don't even want to start a business, but they don't like the career that they are in, you know. Mm-hmm. And I know you are very passionate about entrepreneurship. So tell us a little bit about, you know, what did you study in college? You know, what your career experience, professional experience was like. And then now you are, you know, 40 under 40, in, you know, award in Nashville as an entrepreneur. So tell us that transition into entrepreneurship.
Okay. So how this happened was, I wanted to start my first business like in 2005, maybe, I think. I don't remember. It was like 2000 something. Anyway, I had these business, and my friend, she made me these business cards, and I was like, yes, I got my own business. Started out as a publicist, because I knew I wanted to support people behind the scenes. I wanted to, you know, like be involved with entertainment and celebrities and, you know, all of those things. And so I went on and I got an internship when I was in college with a country music PR firm. And so what is that? It's country music is the genre of music. And then PR is public relations. So basically what the publicist is responsible for is protecting the name, the brand, and the image of whomever the client is or whoever the business is. So these people work behind the scenes to make sure that, you know, the people you see in the forefront are supported, and that people only see positive things about them. So I wanted to do that. And I got pregnant in the middle of my internship. So I had to let my internship go because I was sick in the beginning of my pregnancy. And so I finished my last year in college. My undergraduate degree is in communications and psychology. So communications, you have to take like communications and journalism to be in media, right? And so I did that. I took a year off. I came back, and then I started working for the institution, the higher education institution that I graduated from. And then I worked there for 4 years. I was able to get my master's in education because I thought I was going to be opening up a daycare with my mom. I mean, she has it, but she didn't. So this is where the entrepreneur journey, like the full-time, not working a 9-to-5 journey began. And because I started my first business in 2011, and it was called Rumors Accessories. I had an online boutique selling women's jewelry. And so I maintained that business and I kept it. But I left my job to help my mom start a daycare. That didn't work out. She decided she didn't want to do it. So here I am left, and I had no job. And I spent all my savings. And I was like, I don't want to work for anyone. So I got to make this work, because I know that I am not called to listen to anybody all day long tell me what to do. That's just me. I don't want to listen to nobody tell me what to do all day long, especially when I feel like I knew more than them. So the journey began with the Chasity Nichole agency, which is a boutique style communications and marketing agency. And so what that looked like for someone, because I used to have a career, a 9-to-5 job, and I wanted to be an entrepreneur, I made a plan. I didn't just up and say one day, oh, I'm going to quit. No, I don't suggest anyone do that. Develop a plan is what I did. 6 months out, I started praying about it. I started talking to God about it. Because I knew that I was being hindered. This is just my story. I was being hindered at my career job, because every day when I was there, I was working on my business. So I would be there and I would be doing everything for the institution and whatever I needed to do. But on my downtime, I was working on my business. I was, sourcing jewelry to sell. I was working on my website, packing out orders. I was doing all of that at my 9-to-5. And I was like, yeah, I can't keep doing this, wasting these people's time. They can get somebody else in here to do this, but this right here is not for me. So yeah, that's kind of how it started. And I went on and I opened up a boutique, like at a store in the city that I just moved from. And then I closed that business temporarily, because I thought I was going to be moving to where I am now. So that was in 2017. I didn't move until 2020. So that's a whole story within itself, right? But yeah, this journey, it's been one of the hardest things I've ever done, because entrepreneurship is not easy. People think it is. It's not. We just make it look good. But I've been an entrepreneur for 10 years, and I'm finally just now seeing the fruits of my labor. So anyone that's out there that's interested in starting their own business and you have a 9-to-5, I would definitely say do it, but don't do it without a plan. Make sure that you get all the knowledge and the wisdom that you can. I actually teach women in a brand that I call Business as Usual. I teach women the ins and out and the behind the scenes of starting a business. And so that program is actually getting ready to launch this month. And it's a program where women can be a part of it. And monthly, I teach them, well, not just monthly, but weekly, we go through things, but it's a monthly program. So because it's not easy. And I know when I started out, I didn't have a mentor to teach me anything about business. All I had was the internet. And I would stay up as a new mother until like 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, researching things I needed to do so my business could be successful. And so because I didn't have that, I want to be that resource and that mentor for other women who are wanting to start businesses and have the same story as me, whether they're mothers or they're college students, or they're in a career that they really don't like and they're trying to transition out of their career, or they want to stay in their career and they want to, do entrepreneurship as well. So I'm here to do that as well.
I love it. And, you talk about the challenges of entrepreneurship, and, just your own transition after 10 years, kind of finding your foot. In terms of provision and income and stuff, that is probably the biggest struggle for anybody that is considering to leave their 9-to-5 to start a business. Do you have any suggestion or tips on, how to manage in hard times? Did you ever hit any hard time financially? How did you, try to bounce back, especially as a mother? Any tips on that or anything about that part of your journey?
Woo, that's a whole book within itself. Did I experience hardships? Yes, I did. I experienced all the hardships, especially with finances. Because you're an entrepreneur, you're hungry, you're just trying to make it, right? You don't have any other source of income. Some people don't have insurance. Luckily I had that, but you're just trying to make it. So the tips that I have for people is literally that's why I say, do not quit your job to start a business. Don't quit your job to start a business in the beginning until you're comfortable that that the business can either support the income that you're getting from your 9-to-5, or can surpass it. So because for a while, you're not going to be making any money in your business. You're going to be putting money in it, and you're not going to get a return on your investment immediately because you're trying to build your business. Or even if you have overhead, what's that? Overhead is software that you could be paying for if you're working from home. Or if you actually have a building, that's your rent, that's your lights, that's your utilities. So I definitely experienced some hardships because I did not count the cost before I became the boss. Okay. So I tell people that all the time, count the cost before you become the boss. What does that mean? Don't just count what that looks like numbers wise. Count what that also looks like for you emotionally, what that looks like for you mentally, because of the simple fact, those hardships, unfortunately, they cause a lot of stress. They cause a lot of strain. They may have you slip into depression, because I experienced that as well. And so I didn't come out of that until, the next year. So it was almost like 30 days. I was like in a mild depression and didn't even realize it. But it could have been avoided if I would have planned properly. You understand what I'm saying? But I didn't know because I didn't have anyone, to teach me that. I was just a hungry entrepreneur just trying to make it. And I was still a single mother. And so it was a lot. But the plan that I had was I developed a plan. Because some people was like, I got everything in my head, so I'm going to just do this and I'm going to just wing it and I'm going to try it. And it's like, no, you actually need to sit down, get out a piece of paper and write down what it is that you're trying to accomplish, what it is that you're trying to achieve, and then identify, okay, what is this going to cost me financially? What is going to cost me emotionally and mentally before you decide, like, I am going to open up this business. Now, will you know everything prior to you open up the business? Absolutely not. But you will be able to identify some things, if not all things. And I think that's something that's better than nothing, especially counting the cost of how much everything is going to cost you, because you need to have a budget for your business. So if you're going to be starting a business and you work for someone, I would say start a business savings account. Like you can put $100 in there a week, $100 in there a month, $50, $20, whatever it is, it adds up. And then that's when you say, all right, I have enough money to get my license, get my permits, if that's the case, or buy product or purchase a website or get somebody to do my logo or help me with my marketing. Make sure that you have a budget specifically for that so you won't be dipping into your personal funds. You understand what I'm saying? So then in a way, if you do that and, if you do end up like me quitting your job and you have 6 months worth of savings, actually you have more than that, and you have some for your business and then you have some for your personal, you will never have to dip into your personal to pay for your business. So that's one thing I would definitely say is start a savings account, make a plan, write it down, pray over it, make sure that it aligns with what God wants you to do. Because sometimes we'll be out here doing stuff and God be like, I didn't tell you to do that. What you doing? What you doing? And then God got to come in there and move things around and fix things. And then it doesn't look like what you thought it was going to look like. So that's that.
Yes. What came to mind, and I'd love to hear, how do you deal with disappointments as a Christian woman, though? Yes, God, I've been praying. I've been trusting you for a husband. God, I've been praying. I'm trusting you for a financial breakthrough. God, I'm praying and trusting you for, healing, some physical healing, and you're just not coming through. I fasted. I've done all the generational curse breaking prayers that I could, but how do you deal with that?
Oh God. At first I didn't know how to deal with it. I will be honest and say I experienced a lot of disappointment as a young girl, like a little girl. So I became numb to it, one. And then number two, I thought it was normal. I thought disappointment was normal. So I didn't have a strategy or a plan. Like, okay, yeah, I would have emotion about it, but I would just get over it. And then when I became an adult, I said, all right, that's not normal for you to just get over it. You need to figure out what that emotion is, that pain is. So you can, one, either embrace it or identify what are the triggers for you getting here so you can make sure that you're aware of your triggers so that those things don't come your way. So that what that looked like in my personal life, that was showing up with God. So when things didn't work out in a relationship or things didn't work out in business or, with anything like that, I became numb to it. And I'm like, oh, okay, all right, I'm sad, I'm mad, whatever. Okay, I'm getting over it. but that's not always the remedy to get over it. Sometimes you need to sit there and you need to deal with it. So what does that look like with God? And I'm experiencing disappointment. I learned how to tell God and be honest with him, say, look, this hurts. I've been working hard. I did what you told me to do. We're just going to leave it there. I did what you told me to do. I've been consistent. I've been faithful. I've been praying. I've been helping other people. And you still don't see me over here. God, what, let's have a conversation. And I kid you not, I literally just got this revelation at the beginning of the year and said, God, it's the scripture is there, right? It's like, he's not going to put more on you than you can bear. And that thing hit me. And I was like, wow, clearly God is not doing something in my life right now because he doesn't want to put too much on me that I can handle. Because even coming into a relationship, I'm single and I want to be married. I have a desire to be married. But with the relationship comes a lot. And because God has me working in this one area and its assignment, I'm not sure if he brings someone into my life, if I will get distracted or not. And so, but God knows. And so God may say, okay, you know what? I need her so bad over here. I need her to do X, Y, and Z, that I have a man and I'm going to bring somebody into her life, but she's not ready to have somebody in her life and to be managing everything that I have her doing, because something is going to fall by the wayside. And I got to figure out what's more important right now for the world, for the community, for the people that she's assigned to. So my disappointment turned into understanding when I got that revelation, because I literally was disappointed in certain things all the way up until the beginning of this year. And then that's when I got that revelation. So how do I deal with the disappointment? I stopped learning how to be numb to it. And I started identifying, okay, what are my triggers? Why am I disappointed? What I need to embrace this emotion. And I also need to be honest with God, because he already knows what's going on inside of our heart. But when we open up our mouth, it's like he handles it a different way. So God wants us to be honest with us, with him. He wants us to come to him and say, God, I don't like this. God, I don't understand this. Why are you doing this? This is how I feel about this. And cry out to him, because the word says he can interpret, your cry or whatever. So, you do that. And then, like I said, stay in your word. And that's when I got that revelation, literally. And I said, okay, I understand it now, God. I get it. Does that mean I still get frustrated? Yes, I do, especially in the area of relationships. But I have to make sure that I protect that and I don't voice a lot of that, because that is a weak area. I also know how the enemy uses that as well. So we don't talk enough about that either. And so I know how the enemy can potentially use that area. So I have to guard that and put boundaries and, things like that in place. But so, yeah, that's my thing with that. And that may change next month. I don't know how I'm going to deal with disappointment. But for right now, the season that I'm in, that's how I'm dealing with disappointment.
Yes. And one of the things I love about what you said, and somebody that's listening, it's so important for us to kind of understand the heart of the Father for us, because it takes a different level of faith for you to say, you know what, God, I'm going to trust that you will send the person when the time is right, and not feel like I'm ready. Because sometimes we feel like we're ready for this. We're ready for all of the, God, we're ready for the 6-figure business. We're ready for, the new home. And we're like, you could have convinced us that we're not ready, but it takes another level of faith in God and faith to believe God for you to really say, you know what? Even though this is what I want, even though I'm disappointed in this area, I'm going to trust you. I'm going to trust you. And that's one I think. So here's it. I want to go into what I call 5 questions in 5 minutes, right? So you have about a minute to answer each question.
Okay.
The first thing that comes to your mind, just kind of share. So you ready?
Okay. I think so.
All right. So the first question I want to ask, who is a Jesus girl for you? When you hear Jesus girl, who is a Jesus girl for you?
She's fun. She's vibrant. She's secure. She's unapologetic. She's happy. She's loving. She's caring. She loves to sing. She loves to profess her love for Jesus out loud, without what other people, like not caring what other people say. She's the girl who she can hang out with people at a lounge, and she can also go to church and worship and dance and speak in tongues. Who is that Jesus girl? That Jesus girl is me. That's the girl that I just described. So when I think of what a Jesus girl is, that's what I think of.
Yes. And wasn't a part of my 5 questions, but I want to ask, you talk about fun a lot, like enjoying yourself and stuff. But one of the things that you find is that a lot of believers don't have fun, or it's almost like, oh, fun is a thing of the world. And how can you, and I would love to hear, what are some of the things that you encourage believers, like clean fun, things that we can enjoy and be happy. Yes. And share with us. I'd love to hear.
So one thing that I love to do is I love to sing. So I love karaoke. I can go to karaoke every weekend. As a matter of fact, I need to plan one. But karaoke is fun. So if you enjoy listening to music, where there's R&B, pop, country music, whatever, or if it's even gospel, have a karaoke night with your friends. Whether it's like, it's co-ed or just you and your girls, that's something fun to do. Also, festivals. I love to eat. I like to try different types of food. Not a lot, but I like to do that. So go to different types of festivals. What else can you do? Brunch. Oh my God, brunch is so much fun. I like to eat again. So going to brunch and hanging out with your friends, that's something else you can do. Or you can have things at your house. I like to have people over, and we always have like these different types of conversations about different things, whether it's things in the world or things in the kingdom, or if it's business conversations. I love to do those. So there's so many different things that people would deem as clean, or people would just say, okay, you know what? I like to enjoy this and I like to do this. So I always tell people, identify what does fun look like for you, and then do that, and then maximize it and keep doing it.
Yeah. And, one of the things that you have been like a recurring theme since we have started talking, is that knowing myself piece, like knowing myself piece, like who am I? What is it that I enjoy? This you don't have to over spiritualize, it's just, hey, this is me. So I love that. Next question I want to ask, what's one book that you'd recommend, 1 or 2 books you'd recommend, like, listen, you need to read? And I would say 1 entrepreneurial and 1, personal / spiritual.
Oh my God. I think I have it right here. Do I? Okay. So this is the book. It's so crazy that I have this book right now. This is one that I would recommend for entrepreneur. It's the 4-Hour Work Week, and it is by Timothy Ferriss. And this is how the subtitle is Escape 9 to 5, Live Anywhere, Enjoying the New Rich. So this book is all about creating systems in your business and identifying what that looks like for you, like learning how to automate things in your business, like really set up your business behind the scene, so you don't have to work your business. So you don't have to work your business every single day, that the business can just work itself. Absolutely love this book. This is the book that I would recommend for entrepreneurs. The book that I would recommend for spiritual is The Purpose-Driven Life. That book is by, who is it by? I can't remember.
Rick Warren.
Rick Warren. Yes, yeah. Love Rick Warren. So The Purpose-Driven Life, that book is amazing. If you are unaware of what your purpose is, if you don't know what purpose is or how to identify it, what does it look like lived out loud, that book will literally walk you through understanding not necessarily what your purpose is. It'll help you understand what purpose is. And so it's like when you identify and you understand what purpose is, then when you sit with God and you identify, like ask God, okay, God, what does this look like for my life? You're more open to it because your mind has been expanded from reading certain things, and your eyes have been open for seeing certain things that you can now see and say, okay, you know what? I may know what my purpose is, but I'm going to talk to, more people about it. So Purpose-Driven Life for Spiritual by Rick Warren, and The 4-Hour Work Week by Timothy Ferriss. Both books, I recommend those.
Nice. As you spoke, one of the things also came out was squad, having the right community and stuff. And we know that right now it's squad goals, hashtag, right? Talk to somebody that probably feels like, hey, I don't know if I have good friends around me. I don't even know if I have the right company, the right persons around me to push me, or, what any advice for, a good squad goal?
Good squad goal that I would have for my friends is, oh God, that's good. I got so many squad goals. I'm going to say a couple. One, trust. That's a really big one. Like-minded. being like-minded. We don't have to like the same thing, but we're on the same wave. So we're after like same thing, whatever that looks like for our life. And accountability. And I said trust, and then also the freedom to be you. That's really important. If I can't be myself around my friends, then you're not the one for me. If we're not like-minded, so if I'm goal-driven, I want my friends to be goal-driven as well. Because if you say squad goals, I call them push partners, because that means that you got to push me into wherever I'm going. If I'm spiritual, and they gotta have a relationship with God. You got to understand that what's spiritual warfare and what's not. I need that as well. So the accountability, the trust, the loyalty, the like-minded, the support, those are all squad goals to me.
Nice. And the final question, I'd love for you to kind of share. You talked about purpose, and probably I'll give you a little bit more than the 1 minute, but probably about 2 minutes to just share a little bit about, how you discovered what your purposes are, what you probably could share with us what you think your purpose is, and how did you discover that?
Okay, so this is me being transparent again. I literally am coming to terms with what purpose is for me, because you can have so many different things that are a part of your purpose. Like my son, he's my purpose. He's my why. But then also some of the people that God had me work with, they're also, that's my purpose. But if I could give it like a one-liner or a two-liner, my purpose is to help people be who they are, be who God wants them to be. What does that look like in my personal life? Well, that's me around my friends. That's us talking. That's me being me, and them seeing me, showing them, like just authentically, like you can love God. You can be a Jesus girl and do these things as well, because God is not going to love you any less. You still need to respect your morals, be anchored in Christ, and represent him very well. But that doesn't mean that you can't do X, Y, and Z. You can't listen to music. That's one of my purposes. That's in my personal life. What that looks like played in business is saying, all right, I am playing this role of whoever I'm playing a role behind the scenes for my clients. And then I'm pushing them to be the person who they need to be. So I'm a pusher, if that makes sense. So my purpose is to be a pusher. God, I can't believe I just said that out loud. That's the first time I ever said that. But my purpose is to be a pusher. My purpose is to be a supporter. And so that's what my purpose is. Now, what I'm assigned to is completely different. I'm assigned to people who need that push. I'm assigned to people who don't know what's inside of them, and they need someone to come alongside of them and help them birth it or help it come to fruition. And so that is what I do in my coaching and my coaching program that I'm launching. And that's also what I do in business. And then that's also what I do in life. So it's like, that's who I am overall. Like one conversation with me, you're going to be like, wow, I can do more. And that's exactly what I want people to do after they have a conversation with me or they experience me. I want people to feel fulfilled. I want people to say, okay, I'm motivated to go out here and do this. Even if they don't go out there and do it, I know a seed has either been planted, or I just watered a seed that somebody else already watered. So
I love it. So as we kind of wrap up this conversation, again, I just want to thank you. It's just so refreshing to listen to you, to hear the passion that you have for God, but also people. You don't meet a lot of people that love people. It's even in the kingdom. So, I love that. So as we wrap up, I want you is there anything on your heart that you believe that the Lord would love for you to share with the persons that are listening? Just an encouraging word that the Lord has been ministering to you that you want to share, or, just anything that you'd love, just to remind somebody of and push them into their purpose.
Absolutely. I think it's really important for me to share, don't give up, because I know it can get hard. I am a living witness of what challenging times look like, whether that is financially, whether that's emotionally, whether that's mentally. I was only able to share a glimpse of my story. But I've been through a lot. I've experienced a lot of adversity. But I learned early on to not let adversity hinder me from what God has for me. And so if somebody is listening and they feel like, I just can't see up, it's like, I take 2 steps forward and I get knocked down 2 steps. That you haven't seen all of life yet. God has more for you. And there's the old saying, then also in the Bible says only the strong survive. And I do believe that there are plenty of women, a multitude of women that are listening to this podcast that are strong and they're not even aware of their own strength. So my encouragement to you is for you to tap into that God-given strength that he's giving you at this level and start to see yourself as the woman that you wanted to become. And then as you see yourself as the woman that you want to become, start doing the things that's going to continue to feed that woman that you're becoming. So whether it is just you getting up, getting dressed, doing your hair, get up and do your hair today. If that's you just washing your face or taking a bath, wash your face and take a bath today. If that's you going for a walk for peace of mind, go for a walk today. If that's, listening to music and dancing and just releasing all of those, like those endorphins, that dopamine that your brain releases when your body experiences a lot of movement and workout, do that. Because those are the small steps that you have to take to release the energy that you need in your life. Those are the small things that you have to take, the small steps that you have to take to become the woman that God wants you to become, because God is not going to release anything to you that he feels like that you're going to mishandle. God only gives blessings to you who he knows that you can handle it, because he loves you so much that he's not going to put more on you than you can bear. And then also he doesn't want you to mismanage anything, because people are going to be looking to you to see what you do with what God gives you. And because God is a protector of his reputation and yours, he's not going to give you anything, the one that you're going to mishandle, you're going to mismanage, and then it makes him look bad. He's not going to do that. So with that being said, start those small steps today. Make sure that you get your rest. Make sure you drink your water. Make sure you exercise. Make sure you take care of yourself. Put a smile on your face. Identify 10 things that makes you smile and try to do one of those things every single day. That's my encouragement to you.
Yes, listen, I don't know if you could have ended any more perfect. So just before we go, you just tell us a little bit about the business. You kind of hinted on it, your upcoming coaching program. So tell people how they can connect with you. How do you serve persons, that if somebody wants to reach out to you?
Absolutely. So I am on Instagram. If people are on Instagram, you can find me at Chasity, Chasity, Nichole, Nichole. That is my main page. And so there you'll find out a lot of information about me. The business as usual coaching program that will be launching this month, you can find a link in my bio to join the wait list, because when I start doing things, I open it up and share with the people on the wait list prior to I will with the people in public. And so we're going to be doing that. I have some things I have planned, so I can't share everything, but I will say to join the wait list. If you are interested and need assistance with your business as far as branding and marketing goes, people can find me on the Chasity Nichole agency.com. So Chasity Nichole is spelled just like my name, and then agency.com, the Chasity Nichole agency.com. Or you can get to that link by in my Instagram bio as well. Also, Business as Usual has a page, so you guys can follow that directly from my Instagram page. So yeah, those are some exciting things that I have coming up with. That's what I'm really, really focusing on right now, and I'm trying to drive people to. So we can help people, man. So we can help people live this 4-hour work week. That's what it's all about.
Listen, again, we want to thank you again for joining us. And I'm looking forward to just hearing more about you, following you, and just seeing what the Lord is doing in and through you. So thank you again.
All right. Thank you so much for having me.
Listen, didn't you have fun listening to that? I love talking to Jesus girls. I love connecting with Jesus girls all over the world. And, Chasity really just kind of encouraged our spirit. It was just nice to just talk to somebody that is fun loving, that is passionate about God, that is, just all about the Father's business. I love that conversation. So, definitely you should reach out to her, connect with her. It's always great to just be encouraged by other women, right? And I just want to say this episode was brought to you by Daylight Publishers. Daylight Publishers is a faith-based publishing and consultancy company where we help new and aspiring authors to write, publish, market, and monetize their books. Yes, we believe that books leave a legacy, and we want to help you to impact lives with your story, right? So again, we want to reach out to Daylight Publishers. Check out the website, www.daylightpublishers.com. Listen, I am looking forward to connecting with you guys. Please don't just listen this episode. I want you to connect, share it with somebody, leave a review on Amazon. If you're listening on Amazon Music, if you're listening on Spotify, if you're listening on YouTube or Apple Podcasts, definitely leave a review. We need reviews. Listen, every time you leave a review, my hair gets taller, right? Funny. But yeah, definitely leave a review. Let us know how this episode has blessed your heart. And definitely we want to thank you for listening to another amazing episode of Diary for Jesus Girl podcast. Woo, woo. Yes, tune in each and every Thursday as we release amazing episode of Kingdom Men, Kingdom Women, just as we continue to declare the love of Jesus Christ. Yeah, we're out for this week. God bless you.
Diary of a Jesus Girl. Jesus Girl. Hey, it's the Diary of a Jesus Girl.